The content on this channel is for informational and educational purposes only. Please contact a professional when it comes to your financial needs. The founder of Binance was pardoned even after he pled guilty and paid $4 billion for his misdoings with the Binance exchange. Let's talk about the ramifications of what that means to you and I as investors in cryptocurrency going forward, right here, right now on the Ujamaa network. Let's get to it. The founder of Binance actually pled guilty to the charges of money laundering back in 2023, paid a $4 billion resolution on behalf of Binance, and served 4 months in prison. Now, why was that conviction so newsworthy? Well, it was because of what he was convicted of, and at the time, why that mattered. Well, the main thing was funding of terrorist organizations in the drug trade. Those were the talking points being made by the prosecution about cryptocurrency as a whole. Why it is that we needed KYC, know your customer. And one of the main reasons why so many people chose decentralized networks in the first place, so we could get away from the overreporting and overreach of certain federal agencies. And that's all well and good. However, when you are a founder and you pled guilty to those charges, that means you are the very essence of the thing that kept cryptocurrency adaptation in the United States at bay for so long. You pled guilty to this. And this president, with his ties, family ties to this individual, has just pardoned this individual. What does that mean for us? Well, it points to some lax supervision or regulation of the cryptocurrency industry as a whole. Is this a good or a bad thing? Well, let's talk about the ways of why it's not a great thing for consumer confidence, and this stinks of improprieties. Now, I typically try to avoid any talks of political diatribes or whatever on this channel because it doesn't really affect how we gain generational wealth in our community, how we make it. This is directly impacting it, and you need to know how it's impacting it. And we're going to talk about why this particular pardon just does not look good. I currently reside in a state that is not supported or does not support the Binance platform. You cannot do business on Binance.us. And the whole reason that Binance US existed in the first place because Binance, parent company, did not have any ties to the US. It was a foreign born company, did not fall under regulation of the Securities Exchange Commission or the FCC. Um, so to get around that, Binance.us was created, and that's what I used when I was doing business on that exchange. Now, one of the main reasons why we do not keep our money on exchanges is because of stuff like this that happens. There have been many exchanges that have gone under due to some type of impropriety by the founders, by the organization, FTX, Bitmark, those kind of things. There was a particular um, story, if you recall, that Bankman Fried was in talks with CZ for CZ to bail out FTX. And right after that, everybody went to jail because there was just something nasty about that business model. If CZ was involved, you knew something fishy was afoot. He pled guilty to money laundering, meaning that he didn't know or care how this money was being moved through his exchange to terrorist organizations and to drug cartels. And that was the main talking point that kept cryptocurrency out of the mainstream for the most part. A lot of people had some misgivings about this new technology being implemented to make payments because of the anonymity that was offered by cryptocurrency. Uh, this is the thing. And to then pardon such an individual after your family ties have been made public when you're in office does not sit well with the American buying public. It just doesn't. Now, what that says to a crypto investor about the United States government's attitude towards cryptocurrency, well, you may want to start looking at some crypto. You may have to start looking at some crypto. Now, that's not an American standpoint or a patriot standpoint. This is a finance standpoint, and I would be quite conflicted right now in this age, to be quite honest. Do you have, on the one hand, some favorable rulings for cryptocurrency because of the actions of this current administration? But even before that, there was starting to become some bipartisan efforts to regulate cryptocurrency, clean it up so that you didn't have this kind of thing happen. I do not really want to dip into the political range on this channel. I just don't. We get enough flack about the cultural identity and racial sensitivities on this channel because of what we're trying to do, and that's promote more education in our community so we can take advantage of these opportunities. And this is an opportunity. Whether or not you do business on Binance or not, educating yourself on everything that's happening because of rulings like this and pardons like this can generate some income for you. And we're going to get into the hows and whys right now. First off, let's talk about those ties. Where does the Trump family come into all this? All right, so the Trump family founded this company called the American Bitcoin Company. Now, it is a conglomeration or a partnership that has existed between Hut 8, which is a major infrastructure facility company that mines Bitcoin and mines cryptocurrencies. It's huge. And Hut 8 and their members own 80% of the company. 20% of it is owned by the Trump family and their investors. The American Bitcoin Company itself had purchased a company called Gryphon. And Gryphon is the company that kind of merged with the Trumps, and that's how it came to be. Now, let's just stick to the American Bitcoin Company. Its role is major heavy-duty crypto mining, with Hut 8 handling all of the mining operations, facilities, and infrastructure, and American Crypto, which is securing the chips needed to keep that operation running. Now, you can look at this several different ways. A, this is a win for cryptocurrency mining in the United States. How so, Antoine? Well, with this current administration in charge and his sons literally making deals with cryptocurrency at a time when we're still talking about bringing chip manufacturing back, using the CHIPS Act that was initiated by the preceding administration of bringing back chips because of the threat that Taiwan is under with China and all of our chip manufacturing being made there, and trying to bring that infrastructure back here over some years, if it ever happens at all. That role for the American crypto companies to secure those chips. How do cryptocurrency mining operations like American Bitcoin and make their money? Off of the revenues generated by rewards. They're mining Bitcoin. Little players like ourselves who have those hobby miners, those Nano 3s from Avalon, or the BMM 101, those 1 to 3 terabit miners. Those are basically lottery tickets. Have one, support the network. Maybe you can get a portion of a block reward. All right, that's the whole thing. But you're up against industries like this, entire infrastructures built out for the sole purpose of gaining a block reward. And that is essentially what it is. Big companies taking over what was initiated and started by smaller investors like ourselves. Now, you can lease space in one of their farms, and you can earn a portion of a block reward. But that's more money going into this company. This is how this company is generating revenue. Is there anything inherently wrong about that? No. But where things could go iffy, if policy is being made to enrich a company that's owned by the president's sons. This is the only conundrum we may have. Now, as you and I, the investor public, are concerned, is it time to go ahead and invest in a miner? At the current time, at least, there's not going to be any legislation passed to block cryptocurrency mining, despite all the arguments to the contrary. Can you afford a cryptocurrency miner that's going to do this? Are you able to purchase one of these $6,000 to $10,000 miners in hopes of creating generational wealth for yourself off of one mining reward? Do you have the technological savvy to set up um, solo mining projects? See, that's a whole nother thing. It's a whole nother thing. Now, as a hobby miner myself, I know how to do those things. But will I have the infrastructure? Those machines, each individual machine requires a 240-volt outlet to plug into, the more powerful ones. Do you have that to run? Do you know what your electric bill is going to be when that machine is plugged into your home network? That's why you really cannot or should not be doing these kind of operations in your home, because they're on all the time. That power bill is going to be outstanding. And if you do manage to hit a block reward in the time frame or possibility, which with a decent miner, you still may be looking at 5 to 17 years before you get any kind of reward if you're solo mining, if at all. Those are your odds. It's just too much of an uncertainty for the average person to get into. Now, you increase your chances if you run a company with acres and acres of these miners. This is the play. This is what we're dealing with. Now, whether or not you're going to get involved in this is up to you. But understand this, the fix is in. The handwriting is on the wall. If you have some friends that are willing to invest in the mining side of it and not trying to eke out a living trading cryptocurrency on the fluctuations of it, mining is consistent money. It's just those initial upfront costs that are going to keep you and the average investor out of it. And that's where channels like this come in. We educate you on what you're going to need and how you set it up. So one of the things that I want to pass on to the community that we could have done this years ago. Me and a partner tried working on this some time ago, but again, some of the projects we got into just did not turn a profit. We had a couple of GPU miners just to get our feet wet, miners that we built ourselves, and they paid for themselves. Great, but we never hit a block reward. And the possibility of something like that ever hitting a block reward now, with the higher computational values and the algorithm getting just so complex, is next to none right now with that kind of power, that kind of equipment. You have to have some heavy duty equipment running all the time, and your cost of running this operation before you hit that block reward of 3.25 Bitcoin, which at the current price would be about $300,000. Now, if you were to hit that in a year with one machine, hey, hats off to you. You've made your money back and then some. But the average miner is not going to do that. And will you have the money to keep that operation running when you're looking at bills of hundreds, if not $1,000 a month in some states, if you are paying 14 cents per kilowatt hour in a state like Georgia, for that one machine to run? How much money is that with multiple machines? These are the things that you're going to have to take into account. Am I particularly salty about a company like American Bitcoin kind of monopolizing a certain segment of that population just by sheer size and how Hut 8 and the Trumps and their investors have literally owned petahashes, thousands of petahash availability at their disposal. So even if the price of Bitcoin never rises, their money is not coming in through the rise and fall of Bitcoin currency. It's coming in through the mining of it. And that's the thing that we need to be paying attention to. See, this information is not out there for the regular public. You need to know what you need to know to have an opinion. Now, I could teach you that. Just hit that like and subscribe button and let me know what you think about this content, and I'll talk to you later.